Hello and welcome back to another painting video. Today we're going to be painting a Black Templar Marshal. So I decided to go in on Black Templars. They're cool. I like their models. I like their playstyle. I love power swords because they're cool. So haven't quite perfected my armor yet. Here is our last guy that we did, our heavy. I like it. I think we could do a little bit better on the black armor. So we're gonna keep kind of experimenting a little bit on this guy. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start out with a dark gray dry brush for the black armor. And for this, I always have like a plan. Like I always try to do something different and new for each of my armies. So like the last one, the Tyranids, I wanted to finish it in 24 hours. I was able to do that, and this time around, I'm gonna try to, for every color. Sorry about that. My dog is crazy, and it's Football Sunday. For every Evie. For every piece of thing that I paint, I'm going to try and have at least 3 colors for it. So like a blend of 3 colors is the kind of plan here. So we have a dark tone, a mid-tone, and a light tone, right? So more like a traditional paint scheme, or like, how the professionals do it anyway. So in this case, for the armor, it is sorry about that. In this case, it is the flat black of the primer paint, which you can use just black paint will work. I've shown it multiple times. I use a Home Depot flat black spray can to prime all my guys because it's cheap. It's like, it used to be 95 cents, now it's like $2, but that's what we use for our flat black. Hey. No. So we'll get this nice and coated with that first dark gray, and you can kind of see it in here, look where it's showing up. So that's our, hey. Stop. I'll show you the black primer, just in case you haven't seen the. So it's a quick color, all-purpose spray paint, fast dry, flat black. That's what I use it's at Home Depot. Don't get the Lowe's one, it smells like burning rubber. It's weird, I don't like it. So yeah, 3 colors for most of the things, except probably like the whites and the metallics. I think just mostly for the reds and blacks, we're trying to go for 3 colors, and then maybe, and the browns. But that's it, I think. We're not gonna so for our third color, we're gonna try this dark blue gray. It is a very dark black paint with a blue pigment to it. And I like the blue pigment for black armor because then it kind of shows up as, kind of reads a little bit more black. I mean, a little bit more blue than black. Which, I don't know, is that heresy for Black Templars? I don't know. There's a lot of things that are heresy for Black Templars, so we're trying just to get a lot less of a dry brush than we did with our first paint, with our black gray. So we're gonna get most of it off our brush and kind of just brush it down on the model over some of the surfaces here. Trying to get the really high spots for this. This being our Marshal, he is regal and cool. So that's going to be our black paint. So that's what our black's going to look like on our guys. You can get it over some of this stuff, it's fine. So I do like to do I'm doing the box color mostly for these guys, except for their cloaks and stuff like that. I am doing red instead of white, or that kind of sepia color that you see a lot on them. So our red is this dark vermilion. So we're gonna get this over all those all of our cloth areas. So like the capes, and the loincloth thingies here. We have it pretty thin right now, and we're trying to avoid splashing and avoid all that black that we just painted, because we want it to look nice. Especially like our leaders, we want to spend extra special care protecting their paint and making sure they look good, because they're the champions of your army. You want them to look nice. Just switching to a smaller brush to get some of the more sensitive areas, the areas where we need to be a little bit more precise. So I only use a size 1 brush and a size 00. Those are the brushes that I use. So I'm just going to get this first coat on. Trying to keep it pretty thin. You don't want to go too crazy. So yeah, with this project I'm trying to maybe up the quality of my painting a little bit by doing those 3 colors. I think it'll help me in the long run. I did order the Black Templar upgrade sprue, so that's coming. Just drop this on my lap. Okay, cool. At least it didn't fall on the floor. So we're gonna keep. Oh, and then the shell of the bolters, I do red for these guys as well. So let's just get that base coat while we're going as well. Let me just paint over some of this on his combi weapon. It's cool, I didn't know that they changed combi weapons. Back in my day, combi weapons were a weapon that was combined with another weapon, hence the name combi weapon. So you would have a bolter, combi plasma, cosmic combi flamer, or combi melta, right? So then that way you, oh, let me get his eyes too. So that way you can kind of like specialize them, but now the combi weapon is just one thing. So it's called a combi weapon, and it only does one thing. So it's not like you can just do a plasma shot or anything like that. It just is what it is. And I think that's better. I think in the long run, for everything, for everybody involved, less rules to remember. It is a new rule, but I must have changed it for a reason, and it kind of makes it less specialized but more specialized, I guess. So you don't have to be like, oh, I took the wrong combi weapon here, or I did this or that I shouldn't have done. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I like it, I'll say that. I don't know if they're any good, but I think it's a cool idea. So again, this is just a base coat. So it's gonna look, we're doing thin coats here. We're trying to do thin coats here anyway. And neighbors are screaming at football. I don't know what games are on right now, but I just watched the Dolphins get destroyed. They lost their quarterback last week to a concussion, so it's pretty rough right now for them. So just doing what we always do, just trying to avoid those big areas that we've already coated, trying to keep our paint smooth, but I'm not doing a good job of that right now. You don't want to splash it, so you want to be careful when you're painting it here. And this is where a hairdryer would come in handy to speed up the drying process a little bit. This is going to be pretty boring for you guys while it sits here and dries. Go back in here. And he's got, you can see a little bit of it. Well, this should be red here, so let's get in there, get what we can see. I can see up here, like that. And you just want to kind of leave it alone on the back there. So now we'll go back to the front and then get this second coat in here. And this should more or less solidify the color here for us. Make sure that the paint stays wet. This is a little weird here where it's kind of folded in. So now you can see it's a lot brighter there. Now we get the bolter casing here. Trying to keep our paint accurate and clean. But maybe for a bolter it doesn't matter as much if you wanted to kind of play some mental gymnastics with yourself and, you know, maybe not worry about it as much, because it is a gun. Okay, now while the back is drying up, we're gonna go into our white here just for the shoulder pads and stuff, because it's gonna take a while and it's gonna help that stuff dry. So just thin our paint out as best we can, and then it's going to be that 2 thin coats thing again. You know, that stuff that they always talk about that they don't usually ever do. That's what we're doing. Just keep the paint moving. Use the point of your brush, the sharpness of your brush, to help you out. Probably okay to just paint on the side here, just to get that edge nice for us. It's when they have these weird details. It's the cross, but then it has like another thingy inside, kind of like the Union Jack has. So it's just kind of hard to get in there. But the thin paint helps with the maneuvering there. Okay, we'll let that dry, and then do the same thing on this side. We'll definitely have to clean up the black on this one. This one's a lot more skinnier than the other ones. That's the best I can probably get that one. While we're here, we're gonna kind of paint the skeleton here with the white so that we can contrast him. And we're not using contrast much on this army, but we want to use it in areas where we think it will help us. And I think for things like skeletons and bones and stuff, I think the paint does a pretty good job. Well, actually, we can probably paint this whole thing white because we're contrasting our gold. So let's just get a bigger brush, like a kind of dry brush deal here, and then we can go at it this way. There we go. Looking good. And then we'll go back to our red. We also, because this part is also red, so let's get that for us. I like the red wrappings on power swords. I think it looks cool. Okay, so now let's do our second coat on that cape area. So I think we're getting bubbles in this from the water. The water that I'm using to mix might be dirty. I'm kind of new to this whole thinning paints thing. So, could be that my palette's dirty. Could be lots of things, but let's just keep going. Might have to do another coat on there or not. We can leave the darks, right? Because that could, because like I said, we're trying to do 3 colors, but you know, trying, and then we can kind of finagle it, right? Because if the black's there, then it's already doing a job for us and it's shading, so we don't have to do it. So you can kind of use that stuff to your advantage sometimes. Now, is it just laziness? Probably, but if it turns out good, it doesn't matter. And we're trying here, we're trying to keep the brush strokes going the same direction. We're not going sideways and all sorts of ways, create all these weird hatches on our guy. We just want to the neighbor's fighting? Sounds like sounds weird out there. Now, get in there. There we go. Here's his cape. Clean that brush. Go through here and also get that second coat on here as well. How did I do the, oh, that's that, okay. So for the tilt shield here, I'm gonna take our white, and I've only done this on the champion, if you remember my champion model, but we just have been doing this. So I am, like I said, I am getting the upgrade pack, and that does have decals for those areas, so we might be going differently for there, but for now this is kind of what we're doing with our tilt shield, just kind of doing a vertical white area and then a red cross in it. So now we're going to continue we're going to do our second coat of white on the pauldrons here, making sure it's thin and not chalky. Like I said, we'll be touching up the black on that for sure. Especially this one too, like. Let's just get the white painted, and then we'll go over the black later, because this is going to get us a smoother finish anyway. For that. Okay. Now let's go to the let's go tan yellow for our kind of purity seals. Actually, I think I did different, which is probably wrong. I should go tan yellow first because this is the darker color technically. So we want to go dark to light is how I'm building everything up. So let's go to our purity seal here. Oh shit, you see that? I just fucking splattered all over there. So, gonna have to fix that. Gonna be careful like on these little fiddly bits, because that's the kind of stuff that can happen. I think that's the only one on here. But really quick while we're here, let's go back into our red and clean up that splatter job that we just got. So it's kind of transparent still, so and then we're going to dip back into our black, gray, blue, black mixture, and then just clean up all these little mistakes here. So let's get that going, and then we got to get just cleaning up those little mistakes we made here and there on our painting journey. Make sure there's not any other spots here. Okay. Now we're going to get the belt, and the belt is a leather brown right here. You know, I might have lied about the 3-color thing because it might just be 2 colors. Because if we're counting the black and any washes that happen, then it kind of ends up to be 3, but I don't know. You guys might not agree, but I'm not here for approval. Just here to paint some cool models. It was weird because like for a while there I was like, oh man, I'm gonna run out of content on here. I don't have anything to paint right now. And then all of a sudden I was like, I want Black Templars. So it just came it just came in and I was like, hey, paint these guys now. I was like, okay. And I don't have a Space Marine army anyway, and I think everyone that plays Warhammer maybe should. I don't know. It's up to you guys to decide. Okay, let's go back into that white really quick. And we're gonna get this skull here. And then get this skull here. I'm just prepping it for a contrast paint. That's all we're doing. Okay. So now let's go to our gunmetal. We're gonna go for the metallics. Look at the chains here. I think the cage is gonna be bronze, so we'll leave that. The shackles that we have here. The blade of the sword. We gotta get this dookie chain. People like, you might ask like, oh, like why, what makes you want to play a certain faction, right? Like what made me choose Black Templars? I know that they're like the fanatical Space Marines or whatever, but I always like knights. I like the idea of like knights in space. And I know you're saying, well, there's Grey Knights. Why don't you just use Grey Knights? I don't like magic. I mean, just like the Black Templars. I don't like the magic. I don't think it's extra stuff that I don't really want to remember, and I'd rather just shoot stuff and stab stuff. So, I mean, they kind of fit perfect in that role for me. So we're a lot alike, me and the Black Templars. So let's get all this stuff. Let's get this. I'm gonna leave that black. Let's paint that there. But yeah, when it comes to like video games and all that kind of stuff, I'm not really a magic user guy. I'm more of a beat 'em up tanky warrior guy. So I'm gonna paint the lips there. Like that. I think Get more of the chain here. Like that. We get our sword. Like that. Trying to see if there's any other spots that we missed. Oh, here we got the. I put a helmet on the Marshal. I think so. All my guys in my army are going to be helmeted in some way. So, on the subject, when I was talking about Grey Knights, I did order some Grey Knight Terminator helmets because they're gonna look. They're knights, so they look like knight helmets, and that's what I want my guys to look like. So that's gonna be cool. Let me see here. Let's get some white on our brush here, and then we gotta hit some areas that are going to be painted with the gold here. We want some colors there. I think maybe that can be gold, but I can paint over that with it. That's fine. The tip of the flamer here, I like to make the flamer tips gold. I think it's cool. And I think that's all of those. Okay, now the tan should be dry. A lot of this should be dry at this point. So let's go in with our gold. We're gonna go with this Hoplite Gold Contrast or Speed Paint from Army Painter. I used it on the Sisters of Battle that I painted last week. I also used it, like I said, on my my other Black Templar Heavy that I painted, the Heavy Intercessor. So I think it looks good. I don't have any qualms about it right now. It's like a nice gold color. Let's get the belt here. And then this like rack that this skeleton is on. The little shackles on it. Like that. This part was the hardest part building of the model because I couldn't get the head to connect to the skeleton on there, but it looks, you can't tell unless you like look in there, which I don't think anyone's going to be doing, and if they are, then like, you know, what are they doing? Like they're just looking for flaws at that point. So let's get this like big old relic painted on his back. So I have High Marshal Helbrecht that I will be painting on this channel too, and I'm gonna use that helmet in the upgrade kit that has like a cross on it. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna look cool on him. There's that. I think. Oh, it goes over black. Interesting. It's fun to know. We'll paint the skull there. Okay, now let's get this monster brown color to kind of highlight our leather. Oops. You shake it and then it puts a whole bunch of paint out. So he's going to kind of edge highlight our belt here. Oops, it's too much. It's fine, we can get it out. Spread it around. Get back here. Just get it a little bit. Go back on this gold here. We're gonna get the little end of the belt that I missed. Like that. What's going on down there? Okay, people are just talking loud. Okay, now let's get, so now that we did that tan yellow here, we're gonna go to a US field drab for a kind of edge highlight, and oh, maybe this is the darker color. Maybe I did screw up. So we're gonna paint this kind of towards the middle of the stuff. Of the yellow here. So trust your first instincts. So it's kind of like a lazy edge highlight that I'm doing this way. So like you're just leaving the edges that first color. So it's there. Then we can go back into that paint there and then just get those like little cross sections of it, like here, 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 you know, just kind of keep the high spots with the that color. And then we'll go the red. We forgot that we were doing second colors on that, so that is scarlet. So we're going to take this scarlet color, put it down, and getting into here, and just kind of sticking to the high spots on the cloth, leaving the low spots to have that darker red in there. That way you have like a nice blend of the two colors, especially if you're thinning this. You can get, it'll dry more transparent. So for here, let's just be a little careful here. So we're just taking basically the flat spots and bringing this red into it. Like this edge here. And like that edge. Again, we're keeping that brush stroke in one direction. And we're only getting the top side of everything. We're not going to go get the bottom facing edges or anything like that, because they're not like in our light. So we can kind of get this one. And then for here, I want to edge highlight that whole thing. Then we want to get this whole flat here. Sorry, it wasn't in focus there. Just going in here, getting all those flat spots. I'm going to get the edge here. And I think we can go here. Leave it kind of at that. Now we got to go into the bolter. We're just going to kind of edge highlight it. We're not going to go deep into those colors because they're already pretty established. So we just want some little pop of highlight on the edges here. There we go. And then with that gold, we forgot. Well, first of all, let's take our deep sky blue. Paint here really quick, and we're just going to get inside this little thing that he's got on his waist, this little, I don't know, incense holder thing, and the light inside will be blue. There we go. And while we have that other red while we were here, we're just going to put cross like we had on our champion. Like that. I think it's more like a sword that I was trying to do, so. If you remember that video, if you go back to that video, maybe I'll say sword, who knows. Okay, so let's go back to that gold, our Hopalite gold really quick. And just get that on the incense pot here. Just being really careful of the blue. There we go. Now we get our skeleton horde paint, and that's going to be for the skeleton on the back here. We're going to try to leave the mark on his head white as best we can here. This is a good skeleton-y brown color. It might be too close to the gold, we'll see as it dries. Make decisions based on that, but can't really make decisions on it now. Let's just get all of this coated. Okay. Now for the sword, it's a power sword. So we're gonna take this Ethermetic blue. And I've seen it on some of the art here. They just kind of get this part with the blue. So that's what I'm gonna do. I like that it's subtle and it still makes the sword look like a sword instead of like having a bunch of lightning and stuff on it. So let's just do that. And now all we have to do is wash the metallic with a Nuln Oil wash. So let's just take some of this, and then we're just going to get the shackles and all of that stuff on him. Little bits there, the gun. And I may have lied to you. Now you're like, this isn't 3 colors on anything. I'm realizing that now. But, you know, I'm trying to up my painting game, and I think, you know, I'm accomplishing that goal, and that's all that matters, is that how I feel that I'm doing. I think I'm doing pretty good. I think what we could do though, just one more thing while we're here. So we're gonna take that gunmetal color and then get the skulls on the belt. I think it's a little lame that we didn't, so let's just kind of just doing little touches here and there. There we go. And that is how we paint our Black Templar Marshal. High Marshal is going to be gold, so that's going to be fun. We'll see how that goes. But as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe and we'll catch you guys on the next one.